Good afternoon, everybody. This is BoomersDaddy with Spreadsheet Sports coming to you live from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Want to say a couple things before we get started here. First off, wife and I closed on the house this weekend, so things are going to start getting back to normal. And we're going to start having daily articles, daily podcasts, daily videos, value plays, and stuff like that. So things are going to start getting back to normal here really quickly. And it's going to be we're going to be able to bring you a lot more content that will be able to help you and progress you in your skills for DFS. So first off, I wanted to say a big thanks to Big Italy 42. He's a very close friend of mine as far as the DFS industry is concerned. We talk a lot on Twitter. Banter back and forth, have a lot of fun. We play a lot of the same contests and games, so we're always looking at each other's lineups and stuff. So he's somebody that I've learned a lot from as far as not only baseball, but as far as basketball as well. He's very good, very skilled, and is somebody that is extremely knowledgeable as far as DFS is concerned. So was thankful enough that he hopped in one of our contests last week to be able to bring this to you guys. And I know he's going to read this article and be watching this video to hear what I have to say. And he'll probably either contradict or go along with some of the things that I have to say with this as well. So on your screen, you actually see my team versus his team. Obviously, you can see it's only about a difference of 4.5 points. That's how close this night was as far as scoring in that league. I believe the winner was 43 points and took it down. So it was very, very close from first to fifth. Could have one play, one hit, one run, could have swung it multiple different ways. So we're going to start off with the pitchers here. I had Jose Fernandez versus CJ Wilson, and Jose Fernandez was somebody that I like. He's coming back from Tommy John. He's pitched extremely well lately. His strikeouts have not suffered. His control hasn't really suffered that much. He hasn't walked a lot of batters. And he's starting to get extended as far as his pitch count is concerned. What was interesting to me when I was looking deeper into his numbers since coming back from Tommy John is his average fastball velocity has actually gone up. So that was something that was pretty interesting to me, and I liked that. He went with CJ Wilson, who was the only player in the league to actually do that. I like CJ Wilson. I actually had him in a couple teams on DraftKings that night. And going against the Twins, that was a really, really good play. What hurt him in this spot was that he only had 5 strikeouts and that Jose had 11. So it's still a good play. He still got the win. He didn't go as deep into the game as what we thought he was going to, but it was still a very, very, very good night considering you're only paying 79 versus the 10-3. So that was a big difference in salary there, and it allowed him to get a couple more bats that he was able to capitalize off of. So the catcher spot, Brian McCann versus James McCann. James McCann, he was in a good spot. I always like playing him when he's in the lineup because he's generally pretty cheap. He doesn't play every day, so his price doesn't scoot up and end up rising on you. Brian McCann was in a really, really, really good spot that night. I think he was going against Baldo Jimenez, if I'm not mistaken. And the Yankees have absolutely owned Ubaldo. So I'm looking here. Nope, it was Kevin Gossman. I'm sorry. It was Kevin Gossman, and he's a lefty. So Brian McCann anytime he's in Yankee Stadium, you got to take a look at him. You've got to be able to take a long, hard look at him because he can put it out, and he's actually hit lefties pretty well this year. So Chris Davis and Mark Teixeira, both in really, really good spots, both at Yankee Stadium, both hit a home run. You couldn't go wrong with either play right there. So those were really good spots. And then you go down to Shoop versus Robinson Cano. Cano was going against, I believe it was Anibal Sanchez that night. And if you take a look at it, then you're looking at Anibal Sanchez giving up 4 earned runs. He pitched 6 2/3 innings. Cano was in a good spot just because he's a lefty going against a righty. He was going to be lower owned, and he's been swinging the bat really, really well lately. Jonathan Shoop, he was probably a reach on my part. He was 2,600. He kind of fit into the salary, and I wanted to get more exposure to that Yankees-Baltimore game. And I really did figure that going against Ivan Nova, that the Orioles were going to put up more than 3 runs. Anytime I can pick on Ivan Nova, I try to, just because he's not that consistent. But he actually had a really, really good game. So Mike Moustakas going against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was one of your better plays of the night. He was a cheap value option. Moustakas is $2,600 going against Charlie Morton. That was a really, really good play. I actually had Moose in a couple other lineups in some tournaments, and that worked out well for me. So Nick Castellanos was my top third baseman play of the day. He was obviously pretty low owned across the board, but when you're looking against Castellanos going against Mike Montgomery, Mike Montgomery had been pitching over his head lately, and he's been doing really, really well, but his numbers had showed that he was due to regress, and this Detroit Tigers offense absolutely kills left-handed pitching. So he hit a grand slam. I believe it was in the 3rd or 4th inning. At 2,400, getting 10.5 points, that's pretty much what kept me in the money. As you can see, I still had 3 -1s from 2 guys in the Baltimore game. Adam Jones has been struggling tremendously lately. So I'll get to him more in the moment. Let's see here. Alcides Escobar versus Johnny Peralta. You couldn't go wrong either way. I liked the Cardinals in this spot going against John Danks. Johnny Peralta is a left-handed pitcher killer, and John Danks just pitched outside of his head. I wasn't sure. The Cardinals have been struggling a lot lately versus left-handed pitching, so that was one thing that I started looking at, and it's actually really kind of crazy. So you can see he went with a 3-headed monster stack of Cardinals and Yankees. You're looking at Peralta, Holiday, and Grichuk. I thought all of those were in good spots. I had them in a lot of lineups across my teams. And then you had McCann, Teixeira, and Jacoby Ellsbury. So Ellsbury had a double, a run scored, didn't do a lot, which was disappointing. And obviously Teixeira had the home run, and McCann just had a dribbler of a single. So his lineup was really good. It was it looked like a cash game lineup when I first looked at it, and then I realized that he had 2 mini stacks in there of teams that I liked and were in good spots. It just didn't work out. So it looked like more of a tournament lineup. And this is a lineup that I probably would have put together as well. So I like this lineup. As you go to my outfielders, you got JD Martinez, Yoenis Cespedes, and Adam Jones. Like I said, I wanted some exposure to that Detroit-Seattle game, and as you can see, I stacked the Tigers with McCann, Castellanos, Martinez, and Cespedes. And JD Martinez, it just didn't work out. It was one of those that he didn't need to do a lot because Castellanos did a lot of the dirty work for him. So Adam Jones, he's been struggling as of late. Not sure what it is. Not sure if he's hurt or anything, but he has not really hit his stride since the All-Star break. So that's going to be something you kind of want to watch. And Yoenis Cespedes has been killing the ball lately. So this is something that you've got to look at is when we put these teams in these tournaments together, go through and look at a lot of the lineups. Look at a lot of the things that other people and other players are doing. Go to the top of the GPP lineups at the beginning of the night, right after rosters lock, and just start flipping through those lineups, looking at different plays, different ideas. Try to look and see what some of the bigger names are thinking, and it will help you get better. If you can start thinking outside the box and thinking of a lot of these like a lot of these bigger name players, then it will allow you to start noticing things that you might not have noticed when you first started out. So I want to say thank you again to Big Italy 42. You can follow him on Twitter at Big Italy 42. He also writes and produces content for Daily Fantasy Cafe. He's a good guy. He'll reach out to you. He'll help you if you shoot questions at him. You can follow me at BoomersDFSDaddy or at Sheet Sports. And guys, good luck. I will have some more articles and stuff coming to you later on this afternoon. Podcast will be released here in probably about an hour and a half. And we've got 9 games on the slate tonight. So good luck to everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again. Bye.